I'm Ashton Addison from Event Chain for Investmentpitch Media and FinTech News Network. And today on Blockchain Interviews, we have Alexander Rogan, the CEO and founder of PlatinumDEX. Alexander, thanks so much for taking the time to come on the show. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Likewise, Ashton. Thank you very much for the invitation. It's good to be here.
Yeah, great to have you. If we could kick off the interview by getting a little bit of background on PlatinumDEX. There are many crypto exchanges that are out there, but I believe PlatinumDEX does bring things to the market that others don't. Could you explain that a little bit?
Yeah, sure. Firstly, we really believe that cryptocurrency is going to help the world increase available funding. When that happens, it's going to drive more investment. There'll be more spend on business, increase in disposable income. Quality of life's going to go up. We're opening the doors to money for billions who are blocked by the present day banking system, both in the developed world and less developed. To get there, it's critical that the cryptocurrency market is free from criminality and fraud. Mm-hmm. So we're going to leverage our success in providing high level security, bring that to the crypto ecosystem, and attract large number of users, large number of customers, both to crypto and to our internet bank. Blocks to internet banking are virtually identical to those stopping mass adoption of crypto. We took a first principles approach to building our business. Yeah, so we really looked at it from the ground up and came up with a methodology so we could really provide some sustainability and growth. So we've got purpose. We're going to build a powerful brand. We're eco-friendly. We're going to develop very good relationships with our clients, and that's going to be built on trust and transparency. And we're all about continual improvement.
That's great. And you mentioned there that there are very similar barriers to entry between traditional banking systems and the cryptocurrency as well. And I read that PlatinumDEX is looking to go much beyond just being a cryptocurrency exchange and trading platform. You're looking to revolutionize EBanking for the unbanked and the underserved. So could you explain a little bit more on how are you going to take that approach?
Yeah, sure. Revolutionize. It's the new way of saying we're being disruptive. Banks are resistant to change. Yeah, they're not agile. They're proven unethical. They don't invest in new tech. They've been dragged screaming into chip and pin, and that's been out there for like 20 years. They really pay lip service to the regulators until they're caught. They stop innovation. They stop companies growing. They even use algorithms to discriminate against social mobility, which is just crazy. And now we're different. We're going to launch our non-custodial wallet app. It's an almost instantaneous method of transferring crypto on Apple and Android. Initially, it's going to be fee-free. We've got projections of over 250,000 users in the first 12 weeks. So we really think that's going to drive some interest. Following the app, we'll bring out the exchange. Then we launch the licensed bank. We'll bring out the card. We'll have fee-free payments. These are services that are really needed at the moment because of the very difficult climate everybody's in. In the first instance, we're going to hit the market in Europe. We've got 300 million people there. But also not forgetting there are 2.5 billion people worldwide who are lacking basic banking services. So there's financial instability in these places amongst those who've got the least capital and the least resources. Financial inclusion will open up banking in places where there are limited access to branches, as an example. Yeah, so the primary access to a lot of these people is going to be via their mobile device, which is perfect for us because we're going to be able to connect them in a very secure manner. And we've got really stringent KYC, ATF, and AML processes. Yeah, know your client, anti-terrorist funding, and anti-money laundering. Now, those things actually are very good because if we can verify somebody who doesn't have an address at the moment, we can actually not just bring them into banking, but we can bring them into the world itself, and give them a proper digital identity. So by doing that, and we're going to remove whatever roadblocks are there to stop them coming into the world. And using blockchain, increases transparency, reduces corruption, records all transactions against the distributed ledger, can't be manipulated, so it prevents fraud or theft. It's good news.
And that's great to be following KYC, AML practices for the safety and security. You also touched on security being a major factor, and through precedent, security of cryptocurrency exchanges especially is very important to keep the funds and the data of the users secure, and that goes for e-banking as well. And I read that PlatinumDEX is focused on some of the highest levels of security. If you could elaborate on, do you have any special methods or practices that you're following to ensure this high level of security?
I'm going to tell you all of it. Yeah, no, I can't answer that. Yeah, so, but our approach to security means that we're building something without a single point of failure. That's really important. We ensure that every component, every action, every location, every member of staff, every process that we're involved in goes through a rigorous evaluation and assurance checks at every stage of the development of the exchange and the associated products. It's critical. We've got the most highly experienced security staff in the ecosystem, without a doubt. We've got access to a mix of sophisticated high-grade security technologies. It gives us market advantage, which no other crypto exchange can match. A crucial differentiator between us and the other markets, other exchanges that are out there, no other exchange was built with security as the primary motivation. Our view is security must be all-inclusive, it's central to the business, and it's got to be in place from the get-go.
Yeah, and it's interesting that when you're targeting the underbanked and the underserved, they often may not have the proper identification, and you need to go through those KYC procedures to be able to verify their identity. Do you have fraud protections in place, or is it just the KYC and AML partners that you're working with to be able to easily identify people without having them to go through a million different hoops?
It's a mixture, Ashton. I mean, we're working very closely with a partner organization, and we've built in like a seamless and relatively painless process of identity verification. Yeah, so we're very careful checking verification of potential clients. But also, we've built in machine learning and AI into the platform. So we are continually measuring everything that's going on. So if we see something unusual in the name of one of our existing clients, we may think that something's gone awry. Maybe they're being coerced into doing something, or maybe they've lost something. We don't know which. But we've got checks and balances in there using some very high tech, watching everything that's going on all of the time. But everything's a balance. Yeah, we need to make sure that we're not helping the bad guys, but at the same time, we're trying to make it an easier transition for our clients and our supporters. I think it's in everybody's interest that we're successful in helping clean up the industry, and I think we've got the right balance. Yeah,
definitely, and we're moving towards more regulated environments, and it can depend on which jurisdictions the exchanges are based in. So if you could elaborate on, what's the jurisdiction for PlatinumDEX and why is it important that you're located in these specific locations?
Yeah, sure. Well, we're based in the City of London. Our aim is to have individual licenses in all of the jurisdictions that we're established in, starting with the European Union, then Switzerland, and then the UK. But look, there's a vast difference between the application of law and enforcement of regulation between London or Zurich and, say, Valletta or the Cayman Islands. All jurisdictions have problems. Yeah, I mean, let's not kid ourselves. Yeah, whether it's London or elsewhere. But we've chosen to be somewhere where our moral and ethical stand can be seen, where the rule of law is practiced. We will be highly transparent from the beginning, which is a million miles away from most of our competitors who want to be based in the shadows. Yeah, that's not for us. Being in London, being in Zurich, being mainstream, embracing the legislation that's coming, taking a moral standpoint, it proves that our strapline, trust, integrity, and security actually means something. It's not something that was dreamed up by a marketing team. So I think our positioning, the fact that we are in London, we're not in an obscure, shady tax haven, says an awful lot about our business and where we want to go with it.
Definitely, and I agree London is a great place to have an exchange, and I'm glad to hear that. And a lot of those countries that you mentioned, they're working through regulations of cryptocurrency exchanges on the regulated side, but also with this pandemic that's just happened, there's been a lot of volatility and fluctuations in the traditional markets. and that could be causing hyperinflation with traditional currencies as well. And part of the adoption strategy for exchanges is getting people the awareness and attraction to a different form of, a financial monetary system. Do you have a specific timeline, or do you foresee changes throughout the countries that you're targeting that may be more towards attracting cryptocurrency?
In terms of timeline, I think we're probably slightly behind the curve because it's already happening. Take up in Asia and South America is huge. It's a fact that crypto is volatile, but you're absolutely right. Yeah, you look at what's happening in Venezuela and similar places. The citizens there are caught between a rock and a hard place. If you go further back, you look at what happens when a government's prepared to take its citizens' money. Like in the sovereign debt crisis, you have examples like Greece and Iceland, Russia, where because there's a problem, the government goes into the bank account and just takes the money out. Or some countries, governments, economies are just run straight into the ground. So it's no wonder that people will push into Bitcoin and the other alternative currencies. So it's not just corrupt countries that are embracing digital currencies. Yeah. Do you know that there are over 40 countries looking at developing or already have developed a digital currency? In Japan, it's all businesses legally obliged to accept crypto. I was listening online today about the Chinese digital currency. It's inevitable. Yeah, it's coming out now, probably this year. And I think the only thing that's delayed it was the pandemic that we're living through at the moment. Even the staid, ever so traditional Bank of England is looking at it. Yeah, the US is investigating a digital dollar controlled by the Federal Reserve. Facebook and its Libra project. And how easy would it be for Amazon to introduce its own currency? It's definitely happening, and it's picking up momentum. Yeah, it's just like literally every month something's coming along that's making me really, really interested in getting our project moving.
Yeah, times are changing quickly. And it's interesting that you mentioned Amazon, because I was researching through PlatinumDEX and I saw that you've developed a solution all in-house as opposed to a lot of these other platforms that are using cloud-based solutions like Amazon. Could you elaborate on the choice behind that?
Yeah, for sure. A lot of our competitors are on public cloud. Yeah, we're not. Yeah, we chose to develop a solution in-house. Why? It's about control, total and absolute. We'll never give up the physical control of our servers. It's not an option. We demand immediate access to the physical server, so hosting in-house is the only option. And in our great experience, and we've been doing this a long, long time, public cloud providers will minimize their own risk above their clients. That's a fact. Yeah, because we're doing it ourselves, our clients come second to nobody. And you don't see the US Treasury outsourcing Fort Knox, do you? Yeah, it's the US Army and 1,000 tanks surrounding their gold storage facility. It's not AWS and it's not Microsoft. So this, and there are other reasons as well, but security is first and foremost. But one of the advantages we've got is that as it's ours and we are managing it ourselves all the time, then we can support our business as we need to. High performance computing puts huge demands on computing power and storage. Workloads are processed faster and more efficiently in-house, without a doubt, especially if your workload requires bleeding edge hardware, as ours does. So we're able to make sure that we're always ahead of the curve. We're up to speed without being dependent on third parties, and that ensures that we'll be scalable and we won't get caught out like we saw some of the exchanges did a few years ago, where they just had to stop because they just couldn't cope with the business they had coming through. Yeah,
well, it sounds like you're ahead of the curve. And speaking of down the road and, in the short term, I was looking into the PlatinumDEX security token that's being built within the platform. I'd love to know more about what is the underlying technology regarding the security token and what is the purpose for it within PlatinumDEX?
Well, the token PTX, will be used to pay for services on the platform. The obvious example will be paying for commission fees. So when we create each security token, it's underpinned by blockchain and smart contracts. So software algorithms program the PTX functionality and its features. The tokenization takes place as the PTX is fractionalized as a digital unit, and then it's issued onto Ethereum. So that's the token. In-house, our blockchain is very different. We use permission blockchain. It creates a permanent ledger, a record of all and any change, any attempts to change. So if parts of the business that require real-time security, they're being monitored all the time. So the blockchain will be on a permanent feed to our auditors. So we're protecting our customers from the so-called insider job. So we're using blockchain in two distinct ways, but both equally important.
Very cool. And if the viewers and potential traders are looking to learn more and follow along with PlatinumDEX, what's the best way for them to learn more and to reach out?
In the first instance, go visit www.platinumdex.com, and you can sort of read all about us. You can get some details on the team, which makes very interesting reading. That if it's from an investor perspective, because we are actually looking for our seed funding at the moment, we're very, very interested in talking to people who would like to come and buy in equity and take part in what promises to be a very exciting and disruptive journey. On the website, we have the pitch deck and the one-pager. And there are email links through to me as well. If anybody wants to reach out and have a conversation, I'll be very, very pleased to have that with them.
Great. I will leave those links in the description box below for the viewers. And that's all the time that we have today, Alexander, but I really appreciate you coming on, speaking about the environment in which you guys are growing in, and I'm looking forward to following the growth of PlatinumDEX. So let's follow up in the near future.
It's been an absolute pleasure, Ashton. Thank you for having me. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.